Hey everyone, today we need to talk about something a little controversial, which is the ongoing downfall of American Express credit cards. If you've considered getting an Amex credit card but feel a little bit uneasy about actually going ahead and getting one, or you have one in your wallet today but you're considering canceling it, you're not alone. Today, we're diving into exactly why American Express is losing its edge and becoming irrelevant. Stick around, I'm not just going to make these claims and not back them up. I'm going to give you the 5 reasons why this is actually happening before our very eyes. In January 2023, CNBC released the video Why Wealthy Americans Love Amex, which detailed the rise of American Express credit cards and what sets them apart from the rest of the industry. American Express has always been the bank of the wealthy consumer. It has top-tier benefits attached to their most prominent cards, the best-in-class customer service levels, and exclusive rewards that were really difficult to access through other banks. Now, that was just over 2 years ago, and it was all true back then. See, what more could you want than good benefits, great customer service, and the prestige factor that came with being an American Express cardholder? However, from where we sit today, looking across the American Express lineup of credit cards, they're quite honestly becoming irrelevant. Problem number 1, competitive credit cards. The same credit cards that used to be the best of the best for American Express just aren't as competitive compared to the options out there today anymore. Let's take a look at the American Express Gold Card and what that offers compared to some of the other options out there when you're deciding whether to pick that as your food and dining credit card. The American Express Gold offers 4x back on dining, 4x back on groceries, a 3x back multiplier on flights, and they bring that in at a $250 annual fee. Let's compare this to the Capital One Savor One Rewards, which offers 3% cash back on dining, 3% cash back on groceries, also has the 2 additional categories of 3% back on entertainment purchases and 3% back on streaming services that the Gold does not offer, and it does that at a $0 annual fee. With both these cards offering a flat 1x or 1% back on all of your other purchases, they are pretty commonly compared head-to-head for a food and dining card in many people's wallets. The question then that everybody comparing these 2 cards has to ask themselves is a $250 annual fee worth it for the 1x or 1% boost that you get on the Amex Gold Card in the categories of dining and grocery? Let's say you spend $500 a month on food and dining, totaling $6,000 a year. With the Amex Gold and a base level multiplier of 4x back on food and grocery, you'd make $240 worth of membership rewards points from that spend. The same thing looking at the Capital One Savor One with the 3x back gets you up to $180 in those 2 categories. That is a $60 difference in rewards earnings, not to mention there's other competitive cards out there that may fit a person's situation even better. The Citi Custom Cash competes in the same category with a $0 annual fee and 5% back on top eligible spend categories up to $500 spent each billing cycle. The Citi Strata Premier is also coming in at a $95 annual fee. That offers 3x back on dining, 3x back on groceries, and 3x back on travel, almost perfectly matching the Gold Card's categories, but with an annual fee that's over $150 less. As time goes on and more cards are competitive with the Gold Card, I think that answer for people is no. I'd rather not pay the $250 annual fee to hold the Gold Card for just that 1% bump in earnings when there are so many other possibilities out there to get some really similar benefits. Problem number 2 is the American Express coupon book. This goes hand in hand with problem number 1 about the issue of competitive cards, because these days American Express is pitching the value in their cards, not necessarily in the consistent earnings, but in the credits and benefits that are attached to their credit cards. Let's take an honest look at the Amex Platinum and divide the credits that are offered into 3 categories. Category A is legitimately good credits. These are super useful credits for the majority of people. Let's call Category B complicated credits. They could be good, but they either have some strings attached or probably don't fit the lifestyle of many people out there, making them a little bit harder to use. And category C are not good credits. These are ones that are thrown in that don't make sense, that are very difficult to use. Let's see what the Platinum Card offers and how many credits fit into each category. In the legitimately good credits, I'm going to put the $189 clear credit and the TSA PreCheck / global entry credit in there. I think that's a perfect credit for a travel card and totally makes sense. Right away, we're moving into the complicated credits. The first one I'm putting in the complicated category is the $200 airline fee credit. This is complicated because it can't apply just to bookings. It's only applicable to incidental fees charged by the airline. And the second reason is it can only be attached to one airline for that calendar year. The $200 in Uber Cash, we'll talk about this more later, but this is definitely a complicated credit for a number of different reasons. The $200 hotel credit, which is complicated because you have to have a minimum of a 2-night stay in classifications of categories that just simply cost more than a typical hotel that a lot of people may stay at. And finally, moving into credits that just simply are not good or don't make sense on this card, we have the $100 Saks Fifth Avenue credit. How many people really would spend money at Saks Fifth Avenue anyway? The $240 digital entertainment credit, which on the surface seems like a really good idea until you break it down into $20 increments and realize that Netflix and Amazon Prime, which are statistically the two leading streaming services in the world, do not fall into the category that counts for this credit. The $12.95 a month Walmart Plus credit, which doesn't make sense on this card because if this is an elite travel credit card, how many people in this target market are really shopping at Walmart? And then just to make things even funnier, right beside that, they have a $300 Equinox credit. So how many people out there are actually going to Equinox in the first place or can even use an Equinox? And are the same people who are going to Equinox also shopping at Walmart? Really, you have to ask what direction the card's even going for anymore. I start to have a problem when you put all of these credits as the reason the card is valuable to make up a $695 annual fee. Now, these could be justifiable at a $395 annual fee, like the Capital One Venture X, or a $400 annual fee, like the US Bank Altitude Reserve Visa credit card, or even at a $550 annual fee, like the Chase Sapphire Reserve. By the way, every single one of those three cards I just mentioned has at least a $300 travel credit with almost no restrictions. So that just side by side to the Amex Platinum shows how far behind the Amex Platinum has really fallen. Problem number 3 is the usability of the American Express credits in real life. Let's look at the Platinum Card and the Gold Card here, and we'll dive a little bit more into the Uber Cash. The Platinum Card offers $200 in Uber Cash, which breaks down to about $15 a month. The Gold Card has 2 credits, the $10 monthly dining credit that has a bunch of different restaurants, but also Grubhub, which is kind of a cover-all if you don't like the other restaurant options there. And also $10 in Uber Cash that they give you every single month that is also marketed as an Uber Eats option for those of you who want to use that as truly a food and dining specific card. The problem is when you're forced to use the dining credit for Grubhub, and on the other side, you never Uber, so you've got to use the Uber Cash towards Uber Eats, how impractical these credits are in real life. Here's a real life example. On the Starbucks app, I can get a grande salted caramel cream cold brew for $5.69, and I could just order that and pick that up myself in store. On the Uber Eats app, for the same Starbucks grande salted caramel cold brew, that price of that drink when going through Uber Eats is now $6.25. They bump it up about 60 cents just for placing it on the Uber Eats app, but I also get a delivery fee of $3.49 and taxes and other fees of $2.59. So I have 2 identical drinks. One ordered through Starbucks cost me $5.69. The other ordered through my Uber Eats app, where I'm hoping to use Uber Cash to pay for that. That costs $12.33 for the same exact coffee. That's more than doubled in price. In fact, I have to pay 125% more just to use the benefits of my American Express Gold Card. Problem number 4 and problem number 5 are restrictions all around. American Express cards have restrictions on the way in, and they also have restrictions on the way out. First of all, American Express put in some new rules a few years ago about the sign-up bonuses that you can get as you apply for their credit card. Now they're at the point in time where the restrictions on getting welcome bonuses have gone so far that you actually have to look at families of credit cards that they group their cards into and get the cards in the exact right order to continue to qualify for welcome bonuses. For example, the Green Card, the Gold Card, and the Platinum Card, which are basically the flagship cards of American Express, are all in what American Express calls their travel family of credit cards. The way their semi-new sign-up bonus rule works is if you don't get these cards in the order of their increasing annual fees, that means Green Card first, then Gold Card, then Platinum, you're not eligible to get the welcome bonus offer on these cards. For example, I can't get the Platinum Card and then want to go and add the Gold Card to my lineup and get the welcome bonus on the Gold Card since I already have the Platinum Card. There are almost no other banks that restrict you like this, and for people like us who are looking to get the best value out of credit cards, this really kills a lot of the opportunity inside of American Express. Secondly, getting out of American Express is getting more and more increasingly complicated. Once you're inside, you have some really limited options on what you can downgrade to get out of an annual fee card that maybe just doesn't fit your life as well as you thought it would, or maybe something has changed with your spending habits and now you're kind of stuck with an annual fee Amex. For example, if you look at the same Amex travel family of credit cards that we spoke about, the best that you can do when downgrading your card is moving your Gold Card to the Green Card, or taking your Platinum Card and downgrading it to either the Gold Card or the Green Card. The furthest you can go, the lowest you can get for an annual fee, is $150. If you want to get rid of this annual fee completely, you're going to have to cancel the card, which will then in turn negatively affect your credit score. Let me conclude with a few disclaimers. Overall, when you put all of these factors side by side, it really makes you think a little bit longer about whether you really want to get into the game with American Express. I think it really has an impact on a lot of people who are looking for the best credit card that fits their lifestyle. I think it's a shame that American Express is falling out of competition while others are rising around it, and American Express seems to be trending in the wrong direction with the policies that they're putting into place. Now, I also want to offer a few disclaimers on these problems. First, I intentionally pointed out the things that I am most annoyed with inside of the American Express ecosystem and didn't bring up some of the strengths that these cards do possess. Second, there are people who are still great, phenomenal fits for different credit cards inside of American Express. However, the window of people who fit into that is definitely getting more and more narrow, which is a bad thing overall for the majority of people out there. And finally, despite all of these problems, you're still going to see me looking for really high welcome offers to get into certain Amex cards, specifically looking at the 175,000 membership rewards points for the Amex Platinum. But all of these problems put together are really going to impact whether I hold this card for the long term. And at this point, it's not looking like that would be a long-term keeper in my wallet at the point in time that I do decide to go for it. So let me know from your personal standpoint if any of these problems or multiple of these problems have ever kept you from actually going ahead and getting one of the Amex cards, or if you have an Amex card currently and you're seriously considering not continuing to hold that card into the future because of any of these things going on right now. Regardless of what you think, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.